Hi everyone, my name is Lexi and I studied abroad with AIFS back in fall of 2022 at Maynooth University in Maynooth, Ireland. And today I am here with Evan. Evan, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and your program and everything?
Oh, hi, my name is Evan McIntyre. I'm an older student and I came out of retirement. I worked for 25 years in radio and I'm back in school because I didn't want my brain to turn to mush. And so I hope that it inspires a lot of you younger students that someday when you're my age, you don't have to just give up. A lot of people give up, but education, it's good to continue it throughout your whole life. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's never too late to keep learning. So I think that that is awesome. Going back to kind of thinking like before you went abroad when you were kind of first like thinking about doing it, was there a moment where you were like, this is what I want to do with my life now? Like, this is what I'm deciding to do. And how did that kind of feel?
I wanted to go to Africa. That's where I am right now. I'm in South Africa. About 20 years ago, I lived with a Holocaust survivor. She had gone through Auschwitz,
Wow.
and this was in LA. And she told me when she got back to the States after Auschwitz and the Holocaust and everything, that she said their gift to her, they took her on a safari to Africa, and
Wow.
she said it was she said it was the greatest thing in her life. And she was very much into wildlife, and so ever since then I've wanted to go on the safari. So I'm also interested in Nelson Mandela and some of the politics in South Africa. He's I just think for somebody like Nelson Mandela to spend his like 25 years, I think he spent in prison, and then he became the president of South Africa. I just that was so inspiring to me. So I wanted to learn more about him. So when I was looking at all the different places to go, I saw South Africa, and I just thought, wow, if I could go there and study and then do a safari, which I'm going to do. I'm about to embark on, I'm going on a game reserve tomorrow, but I'm going to do a safari later on in Kruger National Park. But so, yeah, when I saw that, I thought that's doing two things. You know, one thing I'd be, of course, learning the South African politics and then going to see the wildlife on a safari.
That sounds amazing. And I know you said you're about to go on your safari, but has there so far been any kind of like favorite activity or like anything you've learned while abroad so far?
Oh yeah, it's a toss up because also seeing penguins in the wild. We went to Boulders Beach and we got up very close to actual live penguins out in the wild and swimming around and the way they waddled the little. I want to be a penguin now.
Yeah.
I mean, after watching them, they're so cute, you know.
Mhm.
So that would have to be the top one, the penguins.
That is so cool. Yeah, I've seen some penguins in like aquariums and stuff, but I would love to be able to see them out in the wild. That is so special. So, have you noticed while being abroad in South Africa that there's any kind of focus on either like fighting climate change or any like more like green initiatives that you've seen?
Yeah, in fact, I kind of feel like gluttony is such a problem in the United States. I
Mhm.
hate to criticize the United States because we always do that about ourselves.
Mhm.
But you know, one thing is they in their trash bins they have four different sections,
Yeah.
one for like compost and then plastic and landfill, and so it's really cool how everyone separates the recycling.
Mhm.
And I know in the United States, it's very frustrating because even the stuff that we put in recycling, I think, ends up in the landfill, and only about 20% actually gets recycled.
Mhm.
But the nice thing also about Africa is when you go South Africa, you go into restrooms or anywhere where there's water and there's signs that say, you know, this is a precious resource. Just use what you have to. And the hotels, you know, they say, you know, turn the water on. And I learned how to take a shower because they recently had a drought. They're no longer in a drought, but I learned how to take a shower with, you know, turning on the hot water and soaping up my hair and then turning it off and then lathering and then rinsing, you know, just and only using about a total of less than 5 minutes of water. So just I thought, you know, that's the right thing to do is to use less resources. Also, I was looking at how much plastic I was using because I was drinking a lot of bottled water, and I was trying to figure out ways to buy bigger plastic jugs and then cut down on the single use plastics. So, yeah, being here really made me think a lot about how much am I consuming and also how I can live more like a minimalist and not use so many resources.
Definitely. Yeah, you don't really kind of see how wasteful like people really are like until you kind of have to be put in a situation where you have to preserve more. And then you kind of like become like noticeable, like, oh wow, yeah, like you learn how to like kind of retake a shower, like something that you never really thought about before. But once you're kind of put in that situation, it really does put things in perspective.
Yeah, and seeing the penguins, and we went shark diving yesterday. We didn't see any sharks,
Uh-huh.
but we saw some dolphins and some seals. And it also makes you think when you're out there at the ocean, you don't want all this plastic.
Yeah.
I think everybody has seen the video on YouTube where they take the straw out of the
Uh-huh.
turtle's
Yeah.
nose, and it's just like that's so sad. So that's another reason to protect our wildlife and our ecosystem.
Definitely. Yeah. So we kind of touched on this a little bit. You said talking just about, the American culture versus kind of now in South Africa. Did you experience any like culture shock or any like major changes when you first got there? And how'd you kind of feel in your own identity now being in this new environment?